now. So thankfully qualified for the nightmare that is the Ford GT Mark II Grand Prix. Yeah, at that time held out to 7th position that I put in on my previous video. So don't forget, obviously, when you are qualified, to go in and hit up those practice quests as well to get the blueprints for that Ford GT, because yeah, 8 blueprints for free. And actually I got a 1 or 2 extra from the Grand Prix packs already, so I'm up to 14 of 35 into the first star. So definitely kind of looking forward to taking part in this Grand Prix. I'll put this one reloading because I don't need that as of right now, but since I'm qualified for that, what I said I'd do is take a look at the BXR Bailey Blade Special event, which is a bit of a strange one. And obviously you can see which cars and stuff are available in this one and which cars are necessary for this one. Right now you do get a couple of cars which are free trials as you come through here. So obviously the Bailey Blade's available on stage 2, and you can kind of get a look at that. I always say this to be careful with it. Keep in mind that the stage 2 version of this car, I've seen a lot of people saying like, oh, that wasn't exactly that amazing. And yeah, it's pretty like rough in the handling department. It's similar-ish to a Triumph Nemesis effectively. The only thing is, as other people will have pointed out, this car is absolutely a requirement if you want to get the key for the SSC Tuatara in the special event, which follows on after the Bailey Blade. So you will sort of need to get this car if you want to have a chance of getting that, because with the Tuatara special event, you need to max out every condition if you want to get the key for it. The key comes at like all conditions complete in that. Now, the only thing is, you'll hear people saying things like, you need to get this car at 3 stars to be able to unlock the SSC. The only thing is, you need to have this car at 3 stars, and you also need to have some other cars available in your garage. So, you will see here, there's a fairly obvious trend there for anyone who's played this game for a bit. And that is the fact that, yeah, they required cars, and this is for the SSC Tuatara, as in the following special event, which is the far, far faster car that people will be getting this Bailey Blade for. You need to get Bailey Blade to 3 stars, and you need to have these other cars. The majority of them at the upper star rating, so for like the Beast X, CN Concept, I think the Triumph Nemesis might be a 4-star requirement on that out of 6. I'm not 100% sure, but if you're missing these cars, then getting the Bailey Blade to head into the SSC special event will not reward you with the SSC's key. Not by completing all the conditions anyway. But yeah, those cars, if you haven't seen them, they're available in the daily events. The Beast X, CN Concept, VLF Force 1. And then they've put in the Lamborghini Egoista in that gap, but that's not required for this. But yeah, the Triumph Nemesis then. And yeah, the other cars that are required there, yeah, the Bailey Blade from this special event and the free trials of the Ford GT2. That's the car that's available right now in the Grand Prix, but that's going to be a free trial anyway for the SSC event, and it doesn't matter the rank that you have for that car. Chevrolet Corvette, that's another Grand Prix that's coming up. That's the D-Class Chevy, which is coming in. That's like, yeah, pretty much a fairly meh car, but it is required for the SSC Tuatara. Yeah, the Chevrolet Corvette C7, that is the other Grand Prix car that's involved in this entire season. It's not a great car. Obviously, it's a D-Class car, but you are going to get a free trial of it, but you have conditions to complete with that one. The other car that's required there is the Corvette Stingray C8. That car is the car that you get for having the Legend Pass. So, effectively, if you don't have these cars here and you haven't bought the Legend Pass, the chances of unlocking the SSC Tuatara, which is the next special event car, are effectively nil. Now, there is another way to unlock it, and that is with what's been brought in, and they are key-based packs. Now, those packs will appear during the SSC event alongside the actual packs for the car normally. And what they are is they're packs which have the potential of a key inside there, but also have blueprints inside. So you'll get the ability to buy packs for just blueprints for the SSC, or you will get packs which have the key and blueprints inside. Obviously, there's a cost to that, and that is the fact that those packs cost 120 tokens, or costed 120 tokens on the global version, whereas the packs with blueprints cost 90. So it's obviously, you can star up the car easier using the 90 token packs, but if you don't have a key, it's the same as all the Grand Prix cars, it's worthless. Like, tuning up the car, it doesn't matter how many of those packs you would open, without the guaranteed key, they are effectively worthless. But yeah, you will empty your token stock that way if you're gunning for the key without completing the event. But yeah, I just said I'd give like a quick overview and rundown of not just the BXR event, but the SSC. So if you're kind of struggling to get through this event just to get this car so that you can bring it to 3 stars, as people are saying, and get the SSC Tuatara, just know the fact that, yeah, you're going to need to have all of these cars here, at least tuned up to, I think it's around the 4-star mark for all of them across the board, at least. The free trial stuff, and you'll also need to have gotten the Legend Pass, since, yeah, the Legend Pass is what gives you the Stingray C8. And yeah, like, I just wanted to make a point of the fact that, like, even with those cars, it's still going to be a challenge, but if you're missing any of the cars from that, like, you can pretty much write off your guaranteed route to getting that Tuatara unlocked, because you can get it by getting packs, but unlike any of the other cars so far, say, like, you could miss out on a bunch of blueprints for the Bailey Blade, but you can still get packs for it and boost yourself up to getting the car unlocked with 85 blueprints. If you would do that with the SSC Tuatara, you can bring the car all the way up to 1 star, 2 star, 3 stars. It doesn't matter. If you get unlucky with those packs, you will not have the car. You will just have a 3-star card that you can use during a special event, and then when it ends, you will have nothing. There is actually a video of somebody attempting to unlock the key from packs, and yeah, I think they spend somewhere in the region of 10 to 15k tokens with no luck. I'll drop a link to that in the description of this video, and you can see just how awesome those packs turned out to be on global. Now, obviously, all of this stuff is coming from the global version of the game, and there has been some tweaks and stuff done to the Switch version, some for better, like with the Lotus Evija event, we got it far easier, some way worse, like with the Drive Syndicate 2 event on Switch was horrific in comparison to the global version. So yeah, when it comes to planning for events going forward, like, all you can do is try and prepare your garage and then hope that it's either like more fair for the Switch players, or yeah, that it stays in line with what it was on global. If they change it up a lot, obviously people who are preparing their garage like myself will get cut out. But yeah, please do just take in the fact that the event could be completely different on the Switch than it was on global. As for the actual stages in this though, I was just kind of doing the sub goals for most of them, and yeah, most of these sub goals are fairly easy. What I would advise doing is, say, coming in here and focusing on the sub goals and also trying the times, because you need to do the sub goals like jump 5 times and collect nitro bottles and 360s and stuff multiple times. So like, if you focus on doing those, but like, make sure you do the sub goal, and if you happen to get the time, that's great, because you only need to get the time once. Otherwise, if you're having difficulty doing both, just, yeah, I would say focus on the sub goals and then just do one run where you're just focusing on nothing but the actual time, and nail that to get all of your blueprints with the cars on each specific day. Now, I said I'd throw this video up though once the first couple of stages were complete, but obviously before people would have those first 175 conditions, because as soon as you have 175 conditions in this, you can start pumping tokens into this one, and you'll be able to unlock the car that way. And like, yeah, I just wanted to stress out the fact that, like, yeah, you can get this Bailey Blade by getting this event to 175 conditions, but if you're missing the Beast, the CN, the VLF, and the other cars, and the season pass as well, you will not be getting the Tuatara by unlocking the Bailey Blade. You'll just be getting the Bailey Blade, which is a cool enough car. It's a mid-range S-Class car, and it's a kind of similar statistics to the Trion Nemesis, the way it handles. But yeah, I just said I'd throw my runs up for these now. 126 in this. Realistically, I've done this a couple of times in Touch Drive, just getting those rewards. And say like, yeah, just even getting the rewards in Touch Drive, the actual car managed to run in at about like a 132, 134 kind of time in the in this race. So I would imagine with an actual driver behind the wheel, a lot of these times are going to be pretty trivial. But yeah, I'd say that I'd throw in my progress on these. Like, it's cool enough again, because like a lot of these special events, yeah, they're now using like different layouts for the track. So this one is actually a new variant of the Cairo track, in the same way the Elite S-Class contest is a new layout of Cairo as well, which is a pretty cool mix up on the track. And I think one where almost everyone that I've chatted to with that has just eaten wall at the end of that first straight, because you're just like blasting along at 200 miles an hour, and next thing, boom, there's the turn off to the left hand side, which I really like that layout. I've run that track a bunch of times already, just to I think I have a top 5% time, but definitely the Elite C class. If you haven't raced it already, yeah, no, grinding wall, but pretty nasty. Just in that pure muscle memory of, oh, here we go with the right turn. But yeah, that Elite C class has a fairly strange but cool variant of the Cairo stage on there. It's an odd one that comes to an end right after this loop around. 121. So yeah, there's a bunch of blueprints for the the Bailey Blade, not the SSC. Find it strange now in Cairo as well, on those new layouts especially, if you notice the fact that like that camera after the stage will end, yeah, it locks into a very, very strange kind of position and points at cars driving in limbo. Now, taking a look at stage 2, and this is the one where you get to use the actual Bailey Blade itself. And unfortunately, it takes place on, yeah, New York, the new tracks. So, yeah, this track is cool enough in places. Some very unusual portions to it. And, yeah, there's some parts of this where it's like the performance just dips down so low around the kind of areas where there's lots of balloons and yellow bins and stuff. Oh, there's just so much junk on the track. And, yeah, again, looking at the way Osaka's been left on the Switch, this one probably isn't going to improve in performance in the slightest. I can't imagine them doing anything to it. 124 time required though, 10 seconds of airtime, and 3 knockdowns. Now, the way this track actually starts off, those 3 knockdowns are pretty much a given as you come out of the actual blimp at the start of the stage. This airdrop stage though is pretty odd. Like, to get your knockdowns at the start, all you need to do is pretty much go into a blue nitro state while you're dropping down on the air. But like, the knockdowns aren't particularly the hardest part of this stage. Probably the hardest thing about this is just the awful performance of this New York track, especially this version of it with this many cars on there. Like, it's one of the first times players will see this in an event, and yeah, the Switch, I'm not going to go up the top because, yeah, there's too many of those yellow bins. Yellow bins impact performance in this version so badly. Like, it is a real shame to see the track running this poorly on the Nintendo handheld, but it just comes down to optimization. Particles and objects are like staying alive way too long, and the Switch is just CPU GPU combo can't handle them. It was the exact same though in Osaka. Too much particle effects, too many pieces around the track, and certain variants of that was never optimized, so it's unlikely that the Switch's version of New York will receive any kind of tidying up as well. All that needs to happen realistically is just a time to expire on those particles to be well reduced, or just particles in general, because the Switch is, like I said, CPU, GPU, it just doesn't handle. Like, all that stuff in the air there, all it's doing is murdering the frame rate. And yeah, it's genuine shame, because the track does look nice, but it would look so much nicer if it was just cleaned up a small bit. Those confetti and stuff, like all those pieces having their own individual physics and lasting way too long. Like, going back to like the era of the PlayStation 1, you had it like enemy AI fell on the ground, flickered and despawned, because the system didn't have the power to like keep all those things in memory. Same exists with the Switch, realistically. Holding like a million things bouncing in front of your car like that and particles all over the place, Switch isn't designed for that. It's just not that powerful a machine. But anyway, 119 time possible on that, using the free trial, the Bailey. Like, it's not a bad car. It's just a kind of Trion Nemesis with a slightly different shape, in terms of, if you know how to drive the Trion, you'll do okay in this one. And the hardest part of this track by far, avoiding slowdown. I do that, like I said, mostly by just, avoiding any area on this track that has those yellow bins that just explode into particles when you connect with them. Cool enough. The 8th blueprint for my own Bailey Blade, so 1/10 of the way there. Now, stage 3 requires Ford Shelby and, was it barrel rolls, nitro time, and perfect nitros of 5. So like the perfect nitros of 5 is pretty much the only thing you're going to be in need of doing there, outside of the 106 time in the Ford Shelby. Perfect nitro is throwing the car into a blue state. Now, like, I have effectively all the cars required in this Legend Pass, I think, unlocked and effectively maxed out. I think the Trion Nemesis is one of the only ones from that string of cars that I don't have golded. I have it 2 epics away from gold, so I've been farming that out for a year and a bit now. And like, yeah, that's definitely not a car where you're going to be able to grind that one out like during this season pass. So if you're missing it now, you're not going to be able to unlock it without spending some major dollars, like real world money. So let's see, we'll get our 4 barrel rolls. As much as I don't need them anymore, there's loads of opportunities for barrel rolls on this track. So if your perfect nitros, you can do all the goals in this one handily enough, because like nitro time is required effectively on any stage. And yeah, you need 4 perfect nitros, which is just that blue nitro state. That's 3 barrel rolls, I believe. And yeah, you get another opportunity. Ooh, gotta go out far. There's, yeah, don't want to drift out that far. But yeah, there's another barrel ramp on the lower portion of the final straight. So just do not take the right hand side here if you need your extra barrel roll. Hard left and right onto the extra perfect nitro. Throw one more for good measure. And yeah, that's 101 time whilst doing all the quests and spamming out perfect nitro, which you realistically don't want to be doing too much. Yeah, when you're going for full speed, just leave the car in a normal yellow nitro state. But still, when it's those sub goals, you gotta do them. So yeah, that's another 1, 2, 3, 4 Bailey Blade. Not too bad. Definitely handy reward for a Ford Shelby D-class car. Or is it a? I think it might be a C actually. But 12 out of 85 with this. Handy enough, definitely chugging towards unlocking, but obviously, yeah, 85 blueprints for this one is a pretty heavy ask. Now, stage 4 then is using the Viper ACR in Rome. It's a pretty long track. All you need to do is get like perfect runs, drift a small amount, and do 6 stunts. What do you need? A 120 in the Viper ACR. Why one of these is golded. Like I said, I do have the majority of the cars for this event. Yeah, at really nice states. So realistically, I'm going to be able to farm all of the blueprints available from this one. It's just going to be that point where you have to start spending some tokens to actually get the Bailey Blade. And then, yeah, people will probably look at this car from that free trial and avoid it. But if you avoid this car, you definitely are going to be missing out on the SSC, which, yeah, is an amazingly fast car. Like, there is some speed videos of that are highly disputed, but yeah, like that car is still ridiculously fast, even if it's not maybe as fast as they originally claimed. Just for the stunts, by the way, there's plenty of places where you can whip up some 360s on this one. And yeah, just perfect runs. Again, like, you will be able to get 3 of those not too difficultly with this car. It's fairly sick in the handling. Just have to avoid rubbing off walls if you want to avoid them as much as possible. Well, yeah, punching out some decent enough time. You should notice a perfect run about once every 20-ish seconds. I think it's like 23 seconds for the first one. And then I think it reduces after that. Give you a small bit of nitro as well, but obviously not the same amount as some of the other stunts. Oof, oof. Yeah, that kind of pinballing back and forth, like, that's not exactly going to get you too many of those, but I'm pretty sure this would be well complete for my perfect runs out of that, and a 1:15 time with not exactly the most perfect of run, but yeah, like, again, a lot of these challenges are a case of have the car, have it at that star rating, and then yeah, just rip into the stage and do it. So there's, yeah, some more nice enough blueprints for that, and another 15k credits as well, which are pretty cool. Like, definitely enough to tune up this car into stage 5 then. And yeah, this one's on Osaka, but a decent enough track, and 4 GT 128 needed with the 4-star version of it. 1 knockdown, 360s, which definitely are not the 4 GT's strength. And yeah, nitro bottles times 8. There is easily 8 on the track, but again, I would say focus on the sub goals first, get them out of the way with, and then go for the time in a separate run, because especially with the 4 GT, you do not want to be doing unnecessary 360s, and 8 nitro bottles aren't a surefire thing on this track. 128 definitely though. It's not too bad. Again, this one's gold, but yeah, you would need this car to be at 4 stars to get the maximum rewards from this one anyway. Cool enough track, but yeah, like I said, there's like, I'm trying to count them out in my head. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 that I can think of that you can get with ease, but it depends on the way the AI actually impact you, especially on these first ones, because I go on the right hand path, and yeah, like, if the AI pushes you out of the way on those, it can just be a case of like, you're not getting the nitro bottles, just punch it for that time. And yeah, all you need to do is like get the time once anyway, and then you can worry about coming back in to get the nitro bottles at some different stage. So like, go left hand side here for the first one, and then nip underneath. You get 2 that way, and then 3, 4, and 5. Nah, I'm gonna go all the way around those. And without that, like, yeah, with those 3 missed, I'm not getting the nitro bottles on this run, because to get the 8 now, I would need to go into the S bank at the end of this track, I'm pretty sure. And I realistically don't want to be doing that, because yeah, it's like, really is just a complete death to speed to do it. If you like hit those perfectly with a drift around, yeah, you can pick up the nitro bottles far easier. Whoa, cutting it a bit low there with the 4 GT. This original version, it did get buffed quite significantly, but like, it's still not an amazing handling car. Shaves off loads of speed even at 4 stars gold. Definitely, it's not a handling powerhouse, but like, the speed of that thing is, yeah, it's way faster than the Mark II. 118 put in on Osaka, which isn't exactly yeah, the easiest on handling. 10 seconds to spare in a 4 GT. Those times pretty trivial really once you have the actual star rating for the car. And again, once I missed those first set of nitro bottles, like, I know myself that the only way to get those extra nitro bottles is to take a really sub-optimum path. And yeah, that's those times where I'm like, if I'm gunning for a time and you would miss the sub goal, just go for one or the other. Don't try for both, because you could end up in a scenario where, yeah, you just waste 2 tickets and don't get either. Let's see, what does that bring me up to then from this? 16, 18, 19, 20. Pretty cool. Quarter of the way there nearly. Now, and stage 6, which is the final stage of this video at least, which is the Dodge Viper GTS on the Caribbean, which again, that's not a car which particularly like suits itself to the Caribbean type of thing. So I would just advise 115 in the Viper, and then say 5 jumps. That's fine. 4 barrels, you can aim for that. 3 shockwaves, yeah, maybe, but again, just focus on the times and then focus on the extra things like barrels and jumps. They're not too bad to do with the Dodge Viper GTS. My free refill, making sure that that is the free one that resets every 24 hours from the Legend Pass, which is pretty handy. And yeah, Dodge Viper, not too badly tuned. Acceleration and handling maxed out, missing nitro and top speed epics. But yeah, I'll give this one a shot. And like I said, jumps, shockwaves, barrel rolls. That's not too bad. It's just a case of Dodge Viper is not exactly the best of agility cars. It's very kind of a low rated kind of Tryon-esque car, more so than it is like say the Dodge ACR. Definitely, it's a shame because it looks the same like the cool C-Class car, but handling definitely way worse. Whoa, just the butt of that car really like bouncing all over the place. So yeah, first shockwave, wow. Managed to barely make that second jump. Just gonna go onto the beach here and get the barrel rolls and rams. Oh, this car is so unstable though, especially on a course like any of the Caribbean tracks is gonna really throw this car around the place, because like center of gravity is so low in this one that like it just does not like kind of the bumpy sands and stuff. But yeah, it's not a bad car. It's just a case of, like I said, if you come from the C-Class ACR into this one, yeah, it's definitely going to be a little bit of a disappointment. See if I can hit that barrel ramp up on the inside here to finish off that quest. Get the extra jump up over to the finish. Time again at this, like, not being too bad a thing. 1 minute and 10 seconds. So I think that should be all of those. 3 shockwaves, 4 barrel rolls, 5 jumps, and yeah, that time knocked completely out of the park while still getting all of those done. 5 seconds to the spare there. Yeah, definitely. Like if this had 360s in it, I wouldn't have bothered, but because of the barrel rolls are never really going to slow down any car in this game. But yeah, jumps, shockwaves, that's not too bad. Request doubling up on the tokens and credits here as well, which is pretty cool. So get another bunch of blueprints and see where I stand then with the Bailey Blade and how close, that's an optimistic word, I would be to it. And oh yeah, those event packs are complete trash. I think for most racers they probably would be, especially, well, if you're competing for the Bailey Blade, they would be anyway. Now let's see, I need to redo this one a couple of times to at least get these event packs and see where I stand. And just regarding coming in here though to do these like extra things, because these are all kind of agility stunt based stuff, yeah, you can just go next on that though. Don't need to use the Viper GTS anymore, can use my Grand Sport and use that one instead. So I'm just going to use this one and to farm out those sub goals instead of using that like far rougher handling Viper GTS. Now, and that's all those packs farmed out then. Yeah, I got some tokens and credits to come in. But that leaves me at 25 out of 85 blueprints. Now, obviously, like, people are going to need to buy some packs with this one to get it up to that 3-star rating. Like, tomorrow is going to be trouble brewing for a lot of players. So you've got the ZR1. Now, even myself, I have the car at 2 stars. Courtesy of some pretty cool look with the multiplayer rewards, but at the same time, yeah, I'm going to miss out on a handful of blueprints there from that stage. At least now though, you can see kind of as you advance through. So we have the free trial again of stage 8 with the Bailey Blade and some more event packs and stuff with that. So again, it's not too bad. This one you just need to get as far as the actual 150 conditions. And now, obviously, if you don't have the ZR1 tomorrow, like, you won't be able to get any Bailey Blade blueprints. But the awesome thing is, these sub goals, which make up a load of the actual conditions, you'll see the fact that you'll still be able to complete those in the Grand Sport, Ford Shelby, and Viper GTS. So you'll be able to get the conditions out of tomorrow, even if you don't have that, the ZR1 to get you any blueprints from that. So you'll still be able to push forward on further. Get stage 8, which is a free trial. Stage 9 then uses the Ford Shelby. That one again requires all the way up to the 4-star mark for this. Now my Ford Shelby is 3 stars currently, and I'm just missing 2 blueprints from that. And what I'm going to actually do with this is those next 2 blueprints I'll be getting over the next couple of days. Stage 2 or episode 2 of this legend pass requires you to star up a car. So when I get those 2 blueprints for the Ford Shelby, I'll be starring that one up when those quests become available. So I'll get the blueprints in the next day or so, and then like I said, I won't click star up until that quest becomes available in episode 2. That will allow me get access then to 4 blueprints here, say, as well as a ton more conditions. More for the Grand Sport, which I'll have that. Stage 11 then is another free trial. That's one using the Corvette Stingray. Then you're on to the Bailey Blade stages, where you're going to need the actual car and the stars to make use of it. And like I said throughout this video, realistically, if you want to be heading towards the SSC in the following special event, if this follows Global's layout and conditions and stuff for these events, you effectively will need to get this at 3 stars now, or else you'll effectively just be making it harder for yourself later on and more costly than just getting this now. It's like, if you think about it, if you do it now, you're effectively giving yourself a 3-star version of this car, as well as then having the conditions required for the SSC. Whereas if you would skip over this one because it's a kind of mediocre car, but then when you go into the SSC, if you just end up having to spend those extra tokens anyway to try and get around that mistake by skipping this one, it's going to be more costly, and all you're going to do is like pay your way through to the SSC, if that is even possible, and you'll get the SSC, miss out on the Bailey Blade. So you may as well have just spent those packs on the Bailey and then get both cars out of it, even though like it does seem quite costly up front since you're paying for this just for the conditions. Thankfully enough with this, once you get the car unlocked at 250 conditions here, you can see the fact that it feeds through all the way to the end. So anyone who's got this car unlocked and has those 250 conditions, they'll be able to get access to this contest here at the end for not a whole lot of tokens and rewards and stuff with this. Like there's still 100 or so tokens to be had for the top 75%, top 50% and such. So it's pretty cool just that everyone will be able to take part in that, unlike say D2 Lamborghini special events where people got cut off by obviously missing out on conditions because there was no like alternate options to get those extra conditions out of the stages. Speaking of conditions though, that's like 142 for me, and say I can get another handful of Bailey blueprints that way. So that's not too bad. What's that bringing up to? 128. So I've got another couple of conditions to go then, and I'll get the last one for that. It was bringing me up to 29 blueprints so far, so nearly halfway there if I'm being really optimistic. But obviously, like I said, this one is going to take some packs for sure to get access to. But it's one of those things where if you see people saying that like, oh, you need to get this at 3 stars to get the SSC, hopefully you've seen the fact now that you will obviously need to have all of those other prerequisites of having these cars as well as having the legend pass effectively, because you need that Stingray from that. And I mean, again, it's just like depend on your tokens, see how much you have. If you're in a scenario where you don't have those cars, but you might have the cars required to get the Bailey Blade, it's definitely not a bad car to have. It's just a case of, if you can't go on to the SSC, you might maybe hold off and just save up, because keep in mind that like without those required cars here, you're just going to be getting the Bailey Blade as of right now, unless you yeah, get credit card out kind of thing, because yeah, you're definitely going to need to complete all the conditions in that, or else end up in a scenario, like I said, where you're buying key based packs. Like I said, that's 90 tokens for the regular packs in that, which is harsh enough, but it's 120 tokens for those key based packs, and there is absolutely no guarantee. Some people could get it in their first one single pack opening and get a key, and then other people can open literally hundreds of them and not get the key from that. And yeah, there's a video down below the description which is opening I think it said, yeah, about 10,000 to 15,000 tokens worth of those packs. And yeah, listen to that dude's voice while he opens those packs. You do not want to be that dude. I do not want to be that dude. So yeah, that's why I'm aiming to get, like I said, Bailey Blade, add that to my collection. I love the collection of cars. The SSC is another one of the kings of speed in this game, so like it'd be cool to add. But yeah, with me, I always just like to collect all the cars where I can, so I'll be getting the Bailey Blade. Hopefully now I've qualified for that GT Mark II Grand Prix, so I'll be getting into that one as far as I can as well. Regarding that Ford GT Mark II, by the way, in case you haven't seen it or weren't aware of it, yeah, you would see this if you went through the relay packs, but after that first star, which is 35 blueprints to star up one time, the next star is 55 blueprints, and the final star for this one is 85. So yeah, that car gets costly quickly. Now I usually like to get like a couple of stars on these Grand Prix cars, but whoa, like 55 blueprints, that's really costly, especially for what is a car that even at 3 stars is still under 3k rating. That's, yeah, oh, that's costly. Like that's really definitely going to be that's not good. That's a costly car. So yeah, I just said I'd bring attention to this guy. If you're going into that thinking, oh yeah, it's only 4 stars, I'll throw some tokens at that. Yeah, it's 4 stars, but like those stars are not regular stars. Definitely not. Good luck for anyone who is planning to start that one up to 4. I don't know, like who that would be, but yeah, I may look at bringing that one up to. I'll bring it up to 2 stars immediately in my Grand Prix, so as to, yeah, get it to the 2.5k rating. But at the same time, like bringing that up to 3 stars is costly. And yeah, we have 8 stages. Each one of the stages will probably have a handful of blueprints for it. So like if you're talking about 15 blueprints or so from those qualification stages and stuff like that, you know, you're still going to need 40 blueprints to bring that up to the 3rd star. So yeah, that's going to be a costly car, unless those packs are incredibly cheap. Funny. But yeah, that is, I just said I'd bring it to attention, just the sheer cost of each star up there with this one. Alright guys, yeah, hopefully people are getting on ground with this Bailey Blade. If you're in a condition where you're able to unlock it, that's pretty awesome. But yeah, as always, if you've watched this far in this video, you very likely clicked that button already. If you haven't, please do give it a click up there, because I cover most of the events in Asphalt, Grand Prix, as well as doing some indie game stuff, which you can see over there, and other videos from my channel here, which YouTube thinks you like. Alright guys, good luck, and yeah, drive safe, and appreciate it if you watched all this video.